Mr. Jayakumar,
Yes.
we'll come to our next question. That is, you have handled multi-million dollar projects
Yes.
for Singtel, Avaya and all. And it's very important that while we are doing the project, we have our minds are on the outcome of the project. So why do you think projects fail?
Mhm.
Yeah, so that is my next question. Why do you think projects do not meet the goals that we have set out in the beginning? Yeah.
Okay, it's a good question. Why do projects fail, right? During the course of the project, especially for medium to high complexity projects, you may face a lot of challenges, right? Even if the project manager is experienced, you will not know what will happen during the course of the project. During the initiation stage, during the planning, during the execution, and so on. One of the things is scope creep. That can happen anytime, even after the acceptance sign off is done by the user or the business. It is important to manage a scope creep so that your schedule, your cost, budget for the project, scope of work, all this is not impacted.
Yeah, but inevitably, customers like to add in requirements during the course. So how do you go about handling tough customers who seem to add requirements from time to time?
As and when they like, right? Okay, this is a fact. This is a reality. What you just described. It can come anytime, and it is, to be fair to the business or the user, it may be required for the success of the project, right? You should manage, as a project manager, manage the expectations. Say that okay, we have a change control procedure which should have been communicated before the project or during the kickoff, and for every change request it needs to be approved, right, by the key stakeholders, including the business and including your PMO, and go back to the user with the impact to deadline, meaning the schedule, impact to the budget, right, cost, scope of work, and resources and other aspects, even quality, test criteria, and so on, and then get that approved. So as long as the stakeholders, meaning the customer, the business, is aware and they are accepting of this, right, change, and they approve it, you can go on and re-baseline your project. Yeah. So that's basically key to it. Yeah.
What other causes could be
causing the project
projects
to
to
failure?
fail? Yeah.
So some of those things are, for example, one of the things that I mentioned, project success doesn't just mean meeting all those criteria, scope, cost, and budget. It also means managing the project stakeholders. Project management success, in fact, depends on stakeholder engagement, satisfaction, and make sure that their key requirements are met. The other thing is use steering committee meetings, right, which should be held as frequently as required, typically once in 2 months or 3 months, and schedule it in advance. Get the management involved, so that if there are key blockers to the project going on, maybe from the business side, right, someone is not free to proceed with the testing or with the sign off, get the management to persuade these key stakeholders to get it quickly signed, right, and key decisions are made during the steering committee meetings. So that is important. The other thing is the skill set of your project team members, technical consultants. It has to be current, relevant to the project that you're delivering. Like, for example, programming skills, right? It will be too late to find out that the consultants are lacking sufficient capabilities or skill sets. And turnover is also another thing, right? So you need to have resources throughout the project, the key resources involved, and attend your meetings. And if they have moved to other projects or they left the company, you need to get the correct person in, right? Some are unavoidable. That applies to also the business and the user, right? Because different business users may have different priorities, right? So we have to make sure that they are in line, engaged, aligned to the project objectives.
What do you think is the role of communication in project success?
Communications is key. In fact, it is one of the key areas when you do project management. Make sure that the correct communication mode is used. So some of the senior staff, senior management and the business side will require meetings. Some require dashboard reports because they are too busy, right? If it is been planned to update them every month with a dashboard report, whether the project is red, green or amber, right? That is called a dashboard report. Make sure that they are told, right? Especially for red. Once it reaches red due to maybe schedule, cost, delays and so on, it has to be highlighted to them in advance. Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Jayakumar.
Thank you.